Hope everybody's doing great. Shout out to all my people on Twitch, all my people on Kick, all my people on Facebook, and all my people on YouTube. I had my volume off because sometime this thing will record before I go live. So you know what we do? Rep your city, rep your city. Represent your city. The beautiful Mrs. Moore is here looking lovely. The beautiful and gorgeous April is here looking beautiful. So represent your city, represent your city. We got ATL in the building. We got Brinkston. The youth for Brinkston. The youth of Eglinton. Won't put down their Remington. We got Buffalo in the building. We got North Miami Beach in the building. We got Bristol, UK in the building. And this is a part 2. I've been having some problems with my internet service. I think they've been working in the area or something like that. We have Orlando in the building. So I've been getting some lagging on my YouTube. For those of you who are watching me, stay professional. I've been getting some lagging on my YouTube. I contacted my internet provider, complained, made them refund some of my payment that I've been paying them. And in life, when things happen, shake it off. Just keep going. Don't make a big deal out of it. Shake it off and keep doing what you're doing. So I ended the live, edited it down. And now we're going to do part 2. We got San Jose, California in the building. We got New Orleans in the building. Everybody come on in and rep your city. Rep your city. Holla at your boy. This is a great conversation right here. This is a fantastic conversation. We're talking about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. Whoa. We got Danville in the building. What's up? A real Illinois representative. We got South Norwood. Oh, man. Who from Chicago remember when everyone was moving out to Danville? For Danville, Illinois. I remember my oldest daughter when she moved out to Danville. We got Oakland in the building. Shout out to everybody in Oakland. Shout out to everybody in Fresno. All my people in California. Everybody knows that's my second home, Cali. I love California. I used to love it. I don't know. I have to go there to see if it's changed a lot. Has it turned to Mexico? Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to all my people in Ohio. You know, being a vendor, I've been to many of you all states, hustling, making money. I went to Ohio a couple of times. I used to leave Los Angeles and come to Chicago in the summertime for a month or two, and then I would do events here, then go back to Cali and get back to Cali in time for August so I could do the big art festival that they would have in Los Angeles. They would have like a 4-day art festival. I forgot, what is that, Labor Day or something? What is that holiday in August? Well, they would have the 4-day art festival. I would come here to catch the Haile Selassie Festival. I wish they would bring that back. Probably not. It's probably not enough Rasta to even do anything nowadays. Then I would run back to California, get there in August and catch that. I really liked the art festival in Los Angeles. All the movie stars be out there. Bill Duke and all them would be out there. It was popping. So we're going to talk about toxic masculinity. I always say I have toxic masculinity. So I've always said I had toxic masculinity. I really didn't know what toxic masculinity was. And so the other day I said, you know what? I got to stop saying I got toxic masculinity until I find out what it is. Now, I found out what it is, and I still have it. I got toxic masculinity. I don't agree with the definition of toxic masculinity, but we're going to get into it. Yeah, we got Oakland in the building twice. Ogun, say Ogun, and the gods will hear you. So y'all come on in, hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get it popping. Support the channel, super chat and all that. Let's get those donations coming in like in the church in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Black Holy Ghost. That's crazy because I don't know how as a mother, I don't know how as a father, a son, and the Holy Ghost, where's the mother and where's the daughter? Make sure you subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago, where we'll be touching on all that. Crazy, huh? So yeah, go subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago. I'm going to move all of certain historical and cosmic information over there. This channel is for real life situations, which I find to be more important. This channel is about information that's applicable, right? And so I decided to split my channels up. I'm going to have 4 channels. And one of them is Kemet to Chicago. The other one is Vegan Intel. Make sure you go and subscribe to Vegan Intel. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to Vegan Intel. I've split my channels up. I am gonna have 4 channels next year so that everything could be specialized. Everybody's not interested in everything. This channel will stay just like it is. If you want to know about health and all of that, then go over to Vegan Intel and subscribe to Vegan Intel. I need about 100 more subscribers over there. Then I'll be able to monetize that channel. So go over there and help me get 100 more subscribers. And that way I could target different audiences that are interested in different things. A lot of people want to hear about the cosmic stuff and historical information. So that'll be over on Kemet to Chicago. Some people are not interested in health, so I took it from over here and put it where I could build a whole new audience. We'll talk about that. You're only allowed to monetize 1 channel on YouTube. And the only way you can have other channels is they have to be a part of a business. And so you have to have your channel connected to a business. And then you can have, as many businesses as you want and channels for those businesses. So my other 3 channels are business related. So next year I'm going to be working a lot. I'll be having to go to 4 channels every day. Make sure you check that out. That's going to be exciting. And this channel, there will really be 2 channels to represent this channel. There'll be this channel where I do everything the way I do it. And then there'll be Pharaoh Said That Live, which is going to be a little crazy. People are going to be coming in. I'm going to have a phone line. So Pharaoh Said That Live will probably dwarf this channel. It's probably going to go berserk. Make sure that channel's going to go crazy because I'm going to have call-ins. You know, I got a lot of haters out there. They'll be able to call in. You'll be able to call in. You'll be able to come in. You know, all you brothers that like to argue, I'm going to let you do your thing. You know, I'm going to let you come in and speak on whatever, right? Let you do your thing as long as you don't get too, long as you're not saying a bunch of words that'll get us demonetized, or you're just totally too disrespectful and turn off the viewers. Then I got to get you out of here. But yeah, Pharaoh Said That Live is up. So go over there and subscribe to that too. That's going to be crazy. So yeah, go and subscribe definitely to Pharaoh Said That Live. That's going to be off the chain. People will be able to come on. They'll be able to hit the phone lines. We'll have a bunch of the Goonie Goons, have a bunch of the guys, you know, some of my associates from Chicago come into the live. So people would think it's a game. So I'm going to have a lot of my associates bringing some of the, you know, introduce y'all to the real world. Okay. It's going to be really the realest channel on YouTube. I'm going to bring in gang members, affiliates, women, some of the baddest women to talk about what they do out here, promoters, musician, artists, you name it. It's going to be, I expect it to be the #1 channel on YouTube, and it won't be a bunch of famous people. This would just be regular people, because you know we got a lot of our celebrities got channels and they're bringing in all the famous people. I think that's great, but you know nobody's giving any light to the people in the hood and on the blocks, or you know various people in various occupations. So, you know, I'll have nurses over here talking about nursing. I'll have doctors over here talking about medical, what it's like, and people talking about education. It's going to be it's going to be just like over here, only I'm going to have people coming over and speak on it. And I'm going to kind of take a back seat. I'm going to take a back seat on Pharaoh Said That Live. Okay, so I'm going to take a back seat because over here it's just what I say and that's it. On Pharaoh Said That Live, I'm going to let them go. You say what you say, do what you do. So it's two different channels. It's going to be fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to that. We got Greensboro's in the building. So y'all come on in. So tonight, I'm talking about toxic masculinity. Now, I started yesterday. I'm going to go and I want to recap yesterday. Now, run those likes up, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, make a donation using Super Chat, CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal. So, first we're going to start with the definition. Toxic masculinity refers to a narrow, socially destructive set of traditional masculine norms that emphasize traits like aggression, emotion, suppression, or emotional repression, right? Dominance and misogyny, which can be harmful to both men and society. It is not an indictment of men themselves, but rather a critique of how certain behaviors and attitudes associated with masculinity can be destructive, leading to negative consequences like violence, poor mental health for men, and social inequalities. Now, that is a bunch of hogwash. That's a bunch of nonsense, basically. So they're saying there's a term toxic masculinity, and we're going to go through it. They're saying toxic masculinity refers to a narrow, socially destructive set of traditional masculine norms that emphasize traits like aggression, emotional repression, dominance, and misogyny. Now let's start with aggression. I don't see where considering yourself masculine has anything to do with aggression. And typically, when I have dealt with men that were a little overly aggressive, it had nothing to do with them thinking about masculinity. I've never met a gang member that was a gang member because that was considered masculine. I've never seen a bully that was bullying because their actual mentality was thinking that that was masculine. I never seen that before. That's totally false. Totally. That's make believe. That's just somebody making something up. I've never I've never known anybody that thought about masculinity when they moved around in their daily life. The only thing I've seen with men that reflected some sense of masculinity was how they dressed, was not nothing that they openly thought about, but typically men made sure that they did not dress feminine, right? And we're going to get into all that now because now men are dressing feminine, and that's what's behind all of this. But we're going to get to that later. I'm going to tell you what's behind this because the list don't go together. The list, when you look at the list, you say, how does this go together? And look at the list. Aggression, emotional repression, dominance. What's the difference between aggression and dominance? And misogyny. Because in some cases, wouldn't aggression be a form of dominance? So somebody's just making it up as they go. They're just making it up as they go. So aggression. Aggression. What is aggression? Typically, in terms of hanging out, going to clubs, dating, typically women dress in a way to be attractive, and they're depending on our aggression to notice their attractiveness and to approach them, typically. I mean, the reason so many women dress kind of as cute as they can and look as beautiful as they can and as sexy as they can is to create aggression from men. Now, when you start talking about aggression and you take the worst use of the term, this is how they misuse these words. Because there can be all type of aggression. Of course, there could be violent aggression, but there also could be aggression where I meet a woman and I walk up to talk to her in the store and I try to get her phone number and I get her number and I call her. That's aggression. I'm being aggressive. I'm going after her. I'm trying to meet her. I'm trying to get her to go on a date. That is aggression. You understand? That's false. You have to say some women. Some women say they don't dress. Some. Because we know absolutely that women dress for us. So when somebody says that women don't dress for men, when you go home and your wife comes in the bedroom with a sexy outfit on, what do you call that? Checkmate, right? Right? When your wife goes and buys that cute little lingerie, she's buying it for you. So that's false. Not only do women dress for men buy them things to put on for us. We buy them panties and we buy them sexy outfits. Why do we buy them sexy outfits? For them to put it on for who? For us. We want to see them in it. So that's A to B toes. They're just making it up as they go. Now, I'm not saying every time women dresses for men, because my mother dressed to go to work and she dressed to go to work to look nice. She wasn't dressing to go to work for men. So in some ways, women is trying to fight against that, which they would be right. Every time women try to look good, it's not for men. I would agree with that. Because every time a man dress up, it's not for a woman. a lot of times we just dress up for us and we dress up for society. So I would agree that every time women dress, they don't dress for men. But to just blanketly say women don't dress for men is incorrect, because many times they do, and sometimes they don't. So I understand what women are saying, that they're not necessarily looking good out there for you to chase them down the street. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see a woman look good, that don't mean she's doing that for me to chase her down the street. So that's why women are saying that she not dressed like that for me, for every man she walked down the street for. So, you know, it's right and it's wrong. It depends on how you word it. But aggression is male and female. So I don't know how aggression is being attached to masculinity, because there are aggressive females. Very much so. There are definitely aggressive females. So aggression is not male. Aggression is a human trait, but not, I wouldn't say it's a male trait. Because I've seen women be aggressive towards women and fight women, or even sports is aggressive. Sports is aggressive. Football is aggressive. Basketball is aggressive. So these words are being misused for sure. But I've never known masculinity had anything to do with being aggressive. When I was a little boy, sometime people would see me and say, "Oh, he's cute." And my grandmother would say, "He's not cute, he's handsome." Making a distinction between the feminine term and the masculine term. So my grandmother would say, "He's not cute, he's handsome." And she would tell me, "Don't let nobody call you cute. You're handsome. You're a man." Which is right. Which is 100% right. So today they're trying to go against everything that your great-great-grandparents was raised, and everything that we had to build the society that we have today. And the society that we built, it's not as good as the moral compass that people used to have. Everything that's new stuff is definitely failing. So aggression being attached to toxic masculinity is ridiculous. Emotional repression. And now, emotional repression is also fake. And I gave this example in part one. When my mother passed away and I went to the service, I didn't cry. And so imagine you coming and seeing me and I'm not crying, and you assuming that I am repressing my emotions, that I'm hiding my emotions. How do you know? So the idea that you're hiding your emotions because you're a man is also a little ridiculous. Because how would you know? How would you know if I'm repressing my emotions? So in other words, if you feel like I should be crying and I'm not, you consider that I'm repressing my emotions. Because in my father's service and my mother's service, I didn't get choked up at all. I didn't get choked up. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have to try not to. So I would say if I went to my mother's service and I felt like crying and I got all choked up inside and I buried it, that might be repressing your emotions. Whether that's a bad thing or not, right? Whether that's a bad thing or not is another. Who says that's a bad thing? So would Mr. T be called masculine and Prince be called feminine? Uh, I don't know. Prince would be called feminine, and Mr. T would just be called a man. And that's the point I'm making, Leonard. We never called it masculine. Mr. T was just Mr. T. We never looked at Mr. T as more masculine than a regular dude. We always just looked at him as Mr. T. But we definitely looked at Prince as feminine. So we never looked at Mr. T as masculine. Think about it. We never looked at Mr. T and say, "Oh, that's masculine." Nobody wanted to put all them chains on and dress like Mr. T. Mr. T was a wrestler. So we never really judged Mr. T. We knew that was entertainment. We knew Master P just represented entertainment. So we never really looked into his character when he represented entertainment. We looked at Prince as feminine for sure, though. Even though he was entertainment, we looked at it as feminine entertainment. We didn't look at Master TP as masculine entertainment. And that's why this is so ridiculous, Leonard, because we never classified masculinity. Think about it, Leonard. Did you ever watch baseball and think this is masculine? No, it was just baseball. Think about it. Brothers, did we ever watch sports and looked at it like it was masculine? No. We never thought about that. Baseball was baseball, football was football, basketball was just basketball. We never looked at basketball like, oh, this is masculine. Like, that sounds crazy. Think about it. I never looked at sports as masculine. I played basketball. I didn't think I was doing nothing masculine. I thought I was just playing basketball. My mother used to play basketball. She was born in 1935. And they banned it because they felt when they was out there fighting for the ball, if a woman accidentally got bumped in the breast, it could cause some type of problem. That has nothing to do with feminine and masculine. That has something to do with men and women, and men don't have breasts. Men don't get pregnant. So when my mother told me, don't hit my sister, because if you accidentally hit her in the stomach, you couldn't make it where she can't have babies. That had nothing to do with being feminine and masculine. That had something to do with one is a male and one is a female. Male and female is not the same as feminine and masculine. Feminine don't have babies. Females have babies. So these words are not alternatives for male and female. That's for sure. Not at all. And so when they say emotional repression, what the hell does that mean? Because when I was growing up, I don't remember them saying men ain't supposed to cry. I remember when you was a little kid and you did a lot of little kid crying, they would tell you stop doing all that little kid crying when you got older. But that had nothing to do with you being a man. That had something to do, you too old to be acting like you know, they didn't want you to act like you was in the second grade when you was in the fourth grade, but that had nothing to do with masculinity. That had something to do with your age. And so our parents teaching us not to act like a little baby, that had nothing to do with masculinity. That had something to do with your age. You're too old for that. So what do you call it? They say, what? Okay, they say you're too much of a man for that. Well, what do you call it when you're too old for that? Because that has nothing to do with your sex. And being too old for that went for the boys and the girls. It went for the boys and the girls. If you was a little girl and you was acting like a little baby in first grade and second grade, they did not tolerate that in the fourth and fifth grade. You had to grow up. That has nothing to do with masculinity because your mama tell your sister stop acting like she in the second grade. That's maturity. They never told you stop crying like a girl. They told you stop crying like a baby. Okay? Am I lying? Am I lying? Did they ever tell a little boy stop crying like a girl? No. They told you stop crying like a baby. That's not male and female. Tell me I'm lying. We didn't stop crying to be a man. We stopped crying to be a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Or a big girl. You're a big boy. You're a big girl. It had nothing to do with male and female. This is all false. It's false. And you wasn't repressing your emotions because you was acting like a little baby and it wasn't even emotional, okay? When you got bigger and you was crying, it wasn't emotional. It was manipulation. It was every time somebody cried, that's not emotions. That's manipulation. How many of you men been with women that cry for manipulation? And it's not emotions. They call it crocodile tears. So crying is not legitimate. Let's get that part straight. Crying is not always a legitimate emotional response. We've seen these Karens out here that mistreat Black people, and when they get in trouble, what they do? They fall out and they start crying. Is that emotions or is that lights, camera, action, acting? So the idea that crying is absolutely an emotion is also false. Because we watch movies and they cry in the movies. I watch movies and they cry and that's not real. So crying is not necessarily emotional. That's also false. False, 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 false. Crying could be fake. And many times you're not made not to cry, you're made not to fake cry. Nobody ever told you not to cry for real when you hurt yourself. They always told you don't be fake crying. I've never seen anybody tell you if you was 13 and you playing basketball, or if you was 15 and you was playing baseball and you got hit with a bat. I've never seen nobody told a boy don't cry when he got hit with a bat. Y'all ever seen that? Y'all ever seen somebody tell a person don't cry when something happened to them? I've never seen that in my life. Never. I never seen nobody being rushed to the hospital and somebody told them, don't cry, you're a man. I've never seen that before in my life. So emotional repression is fake. It's fake. Because you could call it emotional repression, or you could call it stop fake crying. And when somebody tell you to stop fake crying, you gonna call it emotional suppression. Dominance. See, you got aggression, you got emotional repression, you got dominance. How is dominance toxic masculinity when sex is about men dominating? Sex is male dominated. Make that make some sense. Show me where sex is not male dominated. Who goes inside of who? Whoever goes in the other person is dominating. And when we have sex with women, we're dominant. We're dominant. And many times women will be aggressive and then we be dominant. And they be aggressive for us to be dominant. Because I've had aggressive women be aggressive. I get home, she throw me down, she do all this stuff, trying to arouse me. So I be what? Dominant. She wants me to be dominant. The whole idea of a male lion and a female lion, a male dog and a female dog, a male human being, sex is male dominant. We put the sperm in. That is domination. I don't know what else you would call it. What would you call it? This is a problem a lot of gay men are having because they can't find out who's going to be dominant, who's the top and who's the bottom. The top is the dominant. The bottom is the one that's being subservient. And they have problems because they say they're all bottoms. And so a lot of gay men I've talked to, they have a hard problem. They cannot find dominant gay men. All the gay men want to be dominated. These are facts. One time I was driving Uber, and I picked up these Puerto Rican dudes. And they said they'd pay me some extra money if I stopped at the bar so they can have some drinks. I said, cool. So they gave me, like $35 or something. I pulled at the little bar and went in the bar, went in there with them. But the whole time they was in the car, they kept saying, they're all bottoms, they're all bottoms, they're all bottoms. So finally I asked dude, I said, what are bottoms? He said, bottoms is the one that want to be the female. And they went on to explain to me that when they go to these clubs and stuff and they meet these men, they meet these gay men that carry themselves like they're tops, like they're the masculine one. But they said every time they get in private to a room or something, that the man ends up being the bottom. And they can't find a top. And they were saying, this is what they said. I'm not saying that. They were saying all gay men want to get done. They don't want to do the doing. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, no. Because I thought it was funny because he kept saying, they're all bottoms. He's like a Puerto Rican. He kept saying, they're all bottoms. They're all bottoms. I'm like, what the hell is a bottom? Well, according to these two gay Puerto Rican men, they say all gay men are bottoms. That's what they say. And that they have a hard time finding somebody to be the man one. That everybody wants to get done and nobody wants to do the doing. That's what they said. Nobody wants to be the aggressive one. They looking for the aggressive one. They looking for the dominant one. So when you start talking about dominance being a toxic masculinity, let's look into that. What is the opposite of dominance? It don't want to show me. Hold on. It don't want to show me. AI don't want to show me. Hold on. What is the opposite of dominance? Okay. I wanted to get the professional. Okay, this is what we come up with. The most direct opposites of dominance are submission and recessiveness. Though the best answer depends on the context. When referring to control or authority, the opposite of dominance is submission. A submissive person is one who yields to the authority or will of others. So if we don't, so they say dominant. So if a man is not submissive to the wills of others, that's toxic masculinity. That's toxic masculinity. What y'all think? If we don't bow to the will of others, is that toxic masculinity? See? Is that toxic masculinity? So they trying to say we the ones trying to get somebody to bow to our will, which is, I ain't never heard of that either. So they would say, so Pharaoh, when you get with a woman, you don't try to make her do what you want me to do, you to do. No, I try to find one that do that already. Any man to tell you that we prefer a woman that do that already than one we got to tell to do it. If I get with you and I got to tell you to do all this, and I get with her and she just get down, you lose. I prefer the one do it on her own. I don't want to dominate no damn body because that's not fun and that's not sexy. For men, a sexy woman is aggressive. Well, according to this, aggression is toxic masculinity. How is aggression toxic masculinity when we like aggressive women? Make it make some sense. Make it make some sense. Emotional repression, dominance, and misogyny. Misogyny. Okay. Hold on. Make this make some sense, y'all. Look what they're trying to say. Misogyny. Misogyny is toxic masculinity. Right? Now let's look at this. Misogyny is the hatred of contempt for or prejudice against women or girls. The term comes from the Greek word misogyny, hate, and genie, women. Look. I used to watch Jerry Springer. And the only people I've seen that had a super hatred for women was trannies. I've never seen men that hate women in my real life. In my real life, I don't know none of my friends. I don't know nobody I went to school with. I don't know no man on our block. I don't know no men in our family that hated women. I never met a man that hated women. The only people I ever seen that had contempt for women was gay men. Well, gay men, that's not toxic masculinity. How many times have you watched Jerry Springer or Maury where a man comes out with his girlfriend and they tell him they got a secret and they bring out the man's gay lover, another man. And what's the first thing that man would do when he come back? Try to attack that woman. I've never met a man that hates women in my life. Never. I never met. Every man I met holds their girlfriend and their wife in high regards. I've seen abusive men that beat up their wives. I've seen a few of those. And I've seen abusive wives that beat up their husband. And I've seen abusive couples where they beat each other up. I've seen that. But I have never personally ever met a man that expressed dislike for women in my life. If you're a man and you met a man that hate women that was a straight man, put it in the chat because I've never seen that in my life. I'm going to just keep it real. That sounds like a make-believe ideology because I have never, ever seen that. I've seen men that was abusive, but it was a childhood thing where they was messed up as children, but it wasn't because she was a woman. He was just abusive. But I've never seen a man, I've never met a man that hates women. The only men I know that didn't like women were gay men. They would hang with them, but didn't really like them. They competed against them. But I've never met a man. I've never met a masculine man. I've never met a straight man that hate women. I've never heard that before in my life. I've never heard it at the gym, playing basketball, playing football. All the men I know, All the boys I grew up with, I never met a boy that didn't like girls, that hated girls in my life. In grade school, in high school, in music college, at a job, at the clubs, in the streets, hanging out, hustling. I have never, ever met a man that hates women in my life. I've never met that. Has anybody? I've never seen that before in my life. Not an uncle, not a cousin, nobody. Not my nephews, not my sons. I got 3 sons. I've never met a man that despises women. I've never seen that in my life. Never. In many cases, they take in racism where whites was abusing blacks, male and female. Okay, and they won't address racist hate. They won't address race hate. Because for black people, our women mostly got treated bad because of racism. Our women was, abused to pick cotton, lynched, and all that based on race. I speak for foundational Black American. All of our original abuse came from slavery. I'm just saying. And they hated the men and the women. So this misogyny is a Greek term, and the Greeks practiced homosexuality heavy, and a gymnasium is where the Greek men took little boys to molest them. So it's crazy that misogyny is a Greek term where they said, talking about hating women, which the Greeks did. That's interesting. Because the gymnasium was a place they took little boys to turn them out. That's very interesting. That they trying to apply some practice for Greece to all men, something that the Greeks was doing. Many of these statements are European concepts and really don't apply to melanated people at all, to be honest with you. Many of these concepts have nothing to do with melanated people. Let's just keep it real. Toxic masculinity has nothing to do with melanated people. Now, I don't know about other races because I didn't grow up with them. So I don't know what the heck they're doing in their cracks and crevices. But I know I got a lot of white friends and they love their wives and their daughters. I ain't never met a white man that hate women in my life. Men love women. I ain't never met no man that hate women. Not a white one, not an Asian one, not an Arab one, not a Native American. I have never, ever in my life met a man that hates women. I met gay men that kind of despise them and compete against them. But I've never met a masculine man, because we're talking about toxic masculinity. I've never met a masculine man that hate women. So let's break this down. They saying toxic masculinity is aggression, emotional repression, dominance, and misogyny, the hateful women. Now, what group of people would put those four categories together? What particular group in this country would put that together? Who would put aggression, emotional repression, dominance, and misogyny together? Aggression. The opposite of aggression and dominance is submission. Something that gay men do, submit. Emotional repression. Gay men is all in their feelings. They're the most emotional ones in terms of men. In terms of men, the most emotional ones would be gay men. So this concept of toxic masculinity is coming from a group. It's coming from a group. And they say it lead to violence, and gay men fight all the time. Always fighting. And they're not masculine. Women fight a lot, and they're not masculine. It's women fights. Cat fights. Are cat fights masculine? See, they plan. So is the pushing of not being toxic masculinity, is that trying to push femininity? Are they saying men should be more feminine? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looks to me like a push to feminize men. That's what it looked like to me. Emotional suppression, violence, which is not masculine at all. So a bunch of fake stuff is being put together. As many trannies as I've been seeing fight each other, transsexuals fight all the time. If you go up to Chicago and Boys Town in the gay community, they fight all the time. Aggression. Women are aggressive sometimes. Men are aggressive. Dominance. If you gay, somebody got to be dominant. Homophobia. Oh, now we get into the real, okay. So they saying toxic masculinity is if you ain't with the gay stuff. If you won't support homosexuality, then you got toxic masculinity. Sexual entitlement, expressing a sense of entitlement to sex or devalue women. Well, nobody devalues women more than a man trying to be a woman. What's more degrading to women than a man trying to be a woman? And so toxic masculinity is a fake concept that has an agenda. And the agenda is to soften men up and to make our sons feminine. And for you to complain about them sons trying to make your sons feminine, they're going to say you got toxic masculinity. So basically, my mother had toxic masculinity. Think about that. Because according to this, my mother had toxic masculinity for sure. I remember one time we was at the mall I might have been about 6 or 7. And we at the mall. I'm walking way ahead of my mother. And I get to the shoe store, but she back to the next store. And it was some boots. I think they was pink or purple. And I grabbed the boots and I said, Mama, I like these. My mom said, put them down, boy. Them for girls. And when I looked at them, I seen it was for girls. I'm a little boy, so I don't know boy-girl stuff. And when I looked at them close, I was like, oh, hell yeah, these ain't for me. Now, some people would say my mama was wrong. My mama should have bought me them girl boots. And my mama shouldn't have taught me the difference between a boy and a girl. Well, if you're not supposed to teach the difference between a girl and a boy, why don't girls stand up and pee? Why don't you teach girls how to stand up and pee? Why do you have to teach girls a different way to use the restroom than boys? You have to teach girls a different way to clean themselves. We don't have to wipe ourselves when we pee. Why do you have to teach girls one thing and boys another thing? Why you trying to pretend we the same? Why we don't have to wear bras? My sister had to wear more clothes than me. I only had to wear underwear, t-shirt, pants, and shirt. My sister had to wear underwear, t-shirt, Brazil, a lot of stuff. When that time of the month come, my sister got to buy MAC pads. I don't have to buy pads. I don't need tampons. So how are you going to treat men and women the same while you treat women different? Because a gay woman still got to wear tampons when that time of the month comes. She might try to act like a boy, but when she starts bleeding, she cannot wear underwear like a boy, like a man. She got to put pads on or a tampon. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me that a gay woman still don't have to be a woman. She can act like a man, but that period's still going to come. If she really want to be a man, then she shouldn't put no tampon on or no maxi pads. I'm just saying. So don't say treat us the same, but then you got on a tampon and a pad. That ain't the same. How's that the same? So you saying I should raise my daughter and my son the same way, but my daughter got to have tampons? Make that make some sense. Keep it a billion. Keep it a Billy Willie. Keep it a Billy. Stop with the fake stuff. At the end of the day, a woman's still going to be a woman and a man's going to still be a man, and there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. I am not toxic because I'm masculine. And when my wife or my girlfriend starts screaming and I run downstairs and she say, it's a spider. Why ain't that toxic femininity? Why don't she kill the spider? Why I got to kill it? So now I could be aggressive. Now I could be dominant. Because every woman I was with, when she seen the spider, she expected me to be dominant. She ain't never expected me not to be dominant. I ain't never had a woman expect me to not be dominant when she seen a spider. I'm just saying. As anybody know, women know one thing they hate is spiders. And one thing that we don't care about, one time, my ex-wife, she called me. There was a spider on the wall. And she, Pharaoh, she's screaming out. I wonder what's up. She says, a spider. And I went up there and he was running. He was getting ready. So I just smashed him with my hand. And she said, oh, I can't with you. I told her, I'm a cat. Girl, I'm a gorilla. That's the difference between a man and a woman. I would have got something to get him, but he would have got away. So I smashed him. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna bite me when I smashed him? And go wash my hands. She said, "Oh, I came with you. Oh, you killed him with your hand." So what she should have said is, "You got toxic masculinity. That was toxic. That was toxic masculinity. I definitely got toxic masculinity because I smashed his ass. I got toxic masculinity. I'm aggressive. I'm dominant. What else? I don't be crying like a little bee. Hold on, hold on. I got all that wrong with me. I got all that. What did it say I can't have? I'm aggressive. I don't be crying like a little bee. I'm dominant. The only thing I don't got is misogyny because I love, you know what I'm saying? I love women. So that ain't real toxic masculinity. I'm gonna have to do the real toxic masculinity because toxic masculinity is we trying to knock the bottom out that coochie. It's toxic masculinity. We don't hate no coochie. That's not toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is flipping her over, trying to bang her back out. I think that would be toxic masculinity, pulling her hair and riding it from the back. That would be toxic masculinity. Wouldn't that be toxic masculinity? That's my toxic I got toxic masculinity. I try to make her legs be shaking. I'm toxic as hell and masculine. Why they trying to mess up my term? Why they trying to mess up my toxic? I'm definitely got toxic masculinity. And every woman I've been with loved it when they needed some toxic masculinity. They call me. One reason men don't mess with other men wives is because dude got toxic masculinity. If you mess with his wife and his children, he gonna be toxic. He gonna be aggressive, and he gonna try to be dominant. I don't understand how that's a bad thing. My daddy was dominant and aggressive. If you mess with us, I've definitely got toxic masculinity. Now I ain't homophobic or nothing like that. I got 3 sons, ain't none of them gay. They ain't ever told me if they was. I wouldn't hate them if they was gay. I wouldn't hate them. I'd be disappointed they ain't gonna have no grandchildren though. But I wouldn't hate them. They gonna do what they gonna do. They don't want no coochie. Daddy get enough up for them. I get enough coochie for them. They'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't hate them, but hate women, that sounds like sacrilegious. That don't sound like toxic masculinity. I would think toxic masculinity would be you love women. I don't understand. I don't know how toxic masculinity would hate women. Masculinity loves femininity. So toxic masculinity would mean you really love femininity. I would think that you really, really, really love women. I would think. I can't see how you would be masculine and don't like women. Do that make any sense, y'all? Can you be masculine and don't like women? That's nonsense. How could you be masculine and don't like women? Who made that up? Come on now. Who made that up? How can I be masculine and don't like women? How you masculine and hate women? This don't make no sense. Like, come on now. They need to make sense. Some weirdo made this up. I'm telling you, this is bull. And I knew it before I even knew the definition. So for y'all, that's why I've been saying I got toxic masculinity, because I smelt the rat the way they was saying it. The way they was saying it was against toxic masculinity, it just didn't sound right. And I ain't gonna say Europeans, because all my friends be trying to knock the bottom out their wife. All my friends got sons. All my white friends got sons and got women's. So I ain't gonna say Europeans, because I'll be outside with everybody. I don't know no white dudes that don't love their wife, and I don't know no white dudes that ain't gonna do you dirty over their daughters. I don't know none of them. All the whites I know, you're going to get hurt if you mess with their little daughter, Sarah. If you mess with Sarah, it's over for you. You mess with their wife, Kathy, it's a riznap. So I can't say Europeans. I be outside. I got all kind of, keep telling y'all, Big Pharaoh is a global, international icon out here. I got a lot of white friends. I don't know no white friends that hate women. Not a one. I don't know none. Zero. I ain't gonna drop no names, but I could. I don't know no white men that hate women. Never met one in my life. Unless it maybe was a gay person. I wouldn't know because I don't be around gay dudes. So I don't know what they do. But I I know what happened historically, but I'm talking today, 2025. I don't know no white men that hate women. What I know in America, men cherish their wives and their daughters and their grandma and their mama for sure. I don't know no man that you could play with his mama. And his mama's a woman. Man, I don't know no man where you could play with his mama. I don't know none. You can't even play with a gay dude's mama. Oh my soul. You can't even play with a gay dude's mama in the real world. I don't know about in the fake world, but how you gonna say we don't like women and you know you cannot play with mommy and you can't play with grandma? I don't know no man don't like grandma. That's why I be saying they be making up this stuff, but they don't be testing this stuff with the real reality. Men, we love mama, grandmama, and our daughters and our women. Where the men at? Man, we love. Now, in some countries, it's weird. South Africa's a little weird. India's a little weird. I ain't gonna lie. India's real abusive to women, and so is South Africa. I think a woman get raped like every 2 minutes in South Africa. So I don't know. I can't speak on places I don't live. So this is strictly a foundational Black American point of view. I can't really speak on something I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. All I know is here what they mean toxic masculinity in the United States. I don't understand that. It don't sound right. It sound like they just put a bunch of stuff together. It sound like it's something behind it. Because there's an effort to feminize our sons. And I believe the effort to feminize our sons is an effort for depopulation so the billionaires could have all the babies, right? And we don't have no babies. So I believe birth control, abortion. I believe the pushing the same sex. I believe the billionaires want to be the only ones to have children. And I believe they want to have children and they want to have robots run everything. And they don't want us, they don't need us. So why would they want us to populate while they creating robots? If they creating robots, that means they don't want you. If they don't want you, then you don't need to have no babies. If Amazon gonna lay off 300,000 people or whatever, they're gonna replace them with robots. What they need you to have a baby for? Baby for what? And I believe they put stuff in our food and all type of stuff to depopulate everybody except the elites. And I had a friend like, yeah, like Trump. I'm like, Trump is not the elites. Trump is not the elites. He just don't know it. Trump is a nobody to the elites. The elites are nameless figures. You don't know the elites. You might know some of their family names, but you don't know them. It's one thing to say the Rothschilds, but you don't know who them people is. You don't know the young Rothschilds. They're going to keep showing you old man Rothschild. They ain't going to show you the inheritance of that's running stuff. Because old man Rothschild ain't running nothing. You understand? So it's the elites that's pushing this. They don't want us to get married. They don't want us to have children. They want to replace us with robots. Facts. It's definitely population control. 100%, Michael. 100%. Because when you look at this stuff, who put these together? Salute, Ajavan. Who put this together? Look at the words. That's how you know. Aggression, emotional repression, dominance, and misogyny. That group of words was put together by a movement. None of that fits together unless you think about a movement. Why would they want the common man to be aggressive if they're trying to dominate you? If they're trying to control you and have you under the caste of society and the mark of the beast, they don't want you to be aggressive. They want you to be emotional and cry like a little girl while they dominate you. And they can't dominate you if you got dominance. And they want to tell you that you hate women. Hopefully that you start doing it because you don't need to love women, because you don't need to have no babies, because they want to replace you with robots. And why would anybody that's going to have robots, why would they want you to reproduce? Why would they want you to reproduce? Just keep it real. Why would they want you to be aggressive if they're trying to dominate you? They're going to tell you, don't be aggressive. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you, don't be aggressive. And if you're aggressive, you got toxic masculinity. But guess who is going to be aggressive? They even got a picture showing you who going to dominate. In this picture, who dominates in this picture? Which one is dominant? Which one is aggressive in this picture? The human in the picture don't even know he took a picture showing his own fate. He let them put him in a picture that represents his elimination, and he don't even know it. That man has no idea what this picture represents. This picture represents that he's no longer needed, and he don't know it. And he's out there training and working with something that's here to replace him and that will unalive him. This picture say, I will unalive you. Look at this picture. What does it say? It's a robot telling a human, I'll unalive you. And the human don't even know. And who's aggressive and who dominant? The robot got toxic masculinity. Hey, in this picture, who got toxic masculinity? In this picture, who has toxic masculinity? Who is aggressive and who is dominant? And who don't need women? Which one of these don't need women? I rest my case. You know what I'm saying? So look, I hope y'all have a good night. Send this to everybody you know. And fight against the system. You know what I mean? Fight against the system because they definitely planning to replace you. Victory.